Hey YouTube, doing a review. I haven't done one in a while. I figured I would. So when I first started in woodworking, well, not when I first started, but when I started doing it as an adult, I should say, I bought whatever tools I could afford for the longest time. I wound up with a lot of squares, like you can see back here. Basically the cheap Harbor Freight nonsense, which and it's fine. You can get a lot done with those. So don't feel bad if you have those. Those are great. They get you there, but you end up having to spend a lot of extra time reworking things because you never end up square. At least I didn't. Had a lot of problems, and I would use those squares to try and square my miter saw here, and just really could not get good results. And just never could figure out what it was. And honestly, if you buy a 3-pack of the Harbor Freight squares, you will notice very quickly that if you put them together, they're not square. At least one or more of them is off. And I remember, though, when I first got into it, seeing this Woodpeckers brand stuff and thinking, God, who in the world would spend that much money on a triangle or on some of their precision equipment? I thought, who needs that? You can get by. You don't need that. And then as my business began to grow and I started making more money, and time became much more valuable to me than spending a few bucks on a nice tool, I finally plunked down because I got sick of dealing with the nonsense with cheaper tools, and I bought this, right? And so I think this was like, I'm going to say it was 60 or 70 bucks. I don't remember, but it was way more than I'd ever spent on a triangle. Worth every penny. Seriously, worth every penny. You can, every time you pick this up, you can feel the quality in it. I only found one little blemish on it, which is this little guy right here, which I assume they had ground it down for some reason, but I don't care. Every time I pick this up and use it, I know that I'm going to get a perfectly square angle or measurement. And this little box it comes in is great. It holds that in place, so you can't take the thing out. And just wanted to give you a quick review from one woodworker to another. If you're thinking about it, if you've got the extra bucks and you're tired of messing with having to deal with rechecking, and you go to, like, I do a lot of I build a lot of barn doors, these little sliding barn doors like these guys back here in the back, and I build a lot of them, and so they do very well for me. But what happens is, I would make cuts on a miter saw for my rails here, and what I would find is that, when I would go to make my rectangle, I would immediately know something was wrong, because when I'm trying to connect, I would connect this and it would be fine. And then I would go to connect this one, and to get this perfectly flush up here, I had a problem because I would have like an angle. I would have it would be off. And I'm like, yeah, this is no good. So then I'm having to recut wood and adjust my miter saw for, what I thought was square when it really wasn't. And it's too much time. And now that I've been using this to square my miter saw, I can tell you right now, without fail, every single time, it's kind of hard to do this while holding a camera, I get a square fit every single time, no drama. And the only time it's off at all is because of this like cabin grade pine nonsense that I'm using. So you can see it's nice and clean, right? Seriously, it has saved me a ton of time already. So that in and of itself right there makes it worth the money. This set, however, is extra nice in my opinion, because it even comes with this little, it's got a 4 and a 6. Now I don't want to call it a complaint. The only complaint I have is that I wish this board came with a way to store these little guys, because honestly, I could see just keeping these two guys separate, because I use them for different things in the shop. But I don't want to lose these. I know it's, probably not that big of a deal. I could just put them in a drawer somewhere and it wouldn't be a big deal, but I kind of like it as a whole set. But you get this 4-inch triangle, which is, by the way, absolutely perfect for what I needed it for, which is squaring a miter saw. This is going to be next to impossible to do with one hand, but let's try it. You can see right there, I'm perfectly on 0. All right. Now with the 6-inch, obviously it's not as easy because then you start hitting the teeth on the blade. And even the 4-inch, you're pretty close, honestly, to hitting the teeth on the blade. But if you spin your blade just enough, or depending on how many teeth you have on your blade, you can get by with it. On the 6-inch, not so much. But that's what's nice. You've got the 6-inch for your bigger projects, and then you've got the 4-inch for doing your miter saw. You can't really do this because you can see right here I'm hitting a tooth, and I'm hitting a tooth down here, which some people would say, well, then those are matching, then they're square. No, because the teeth are often chipped, so you can't really trust that. So anyways, I just wanted to say bravo to Woodpeckers, and you know, I really wish I wouldn't have waited as long as I did to spend a few extra dollars on a nice square. So that's it. Thanks.